Hey guys, welcome to today's broadcast of the Dutch Diesel Cycling workout today. My name is Brandon, I'll be your commentator. We're trying something out a little bit new here. It is the doing some commentating on a ride. So, as you see, we're reviewing one of today's group leaders from Dutch Diesel Cycling, Eric Hoffman. He's one of the main ride leaders here at Dutch Diesel. So, if you're ever joining us for a ride, be sure to look out for him or Gert or Mike or whoever else might be leading the ride. But yeah, we're underway here in 1 second, and we're off. So yeah, as you can see, I'm spectating Eric right now as we get off. So we're currently off to a little bit of a start here. We're just watching out what happens. I'm not sure, 100% sure how many Zwifters we have with us today, but we will see. So yeah, that is all good, guys. And as we get off to the races here. So, as you see, he has the arrow above his head, so people should be watching him. And, yeah. If you guys want to know how to join these rides, you'll be able to find that information and much more as you go to the Dutch Diesel website. I believe it is DutchDieselCycling.com. I'm sure you'll be able to find information there, or you can go to the Facebook group, Dutch Diesel Cycling, or follow us on Instagram at Dutch Diesel Cycling. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, we are on our way here. Looks like we're hitting 18 miles an hour right now. And Eric's getting some ride-ons as today's leader. And yeah, I believe his stats are in the top left corner. So he's currently hitting about 88 to around 95 RPM, kind of bouncing in between there. Only putting out 148 watts to start. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. We've been riding for a lapse time now of 1 minute and 30 seconds as we go on today's course. I'll try and pull up some course information for you guys as we go. So yeah, trying to find this here. But yeah, okay, if we go to events here, we might be able to find some more information about that. So sorry that I didn't have that set up pre-stream here, but we'll get to work trying to find that for you guys. But yeah, we've ridden half a mile now, and it looks like we're going to be going for a little bit longer. I'm not 100% sure how many miles we're set out to do today, but it looks like we're going through some sort of Sahara here. And yeah, getting up there to pushing 163 watts now, so getting it up by about 20 watts since last time we checked in. And the heartbeat is around 122. 122 beats per minute, sorry about that. We're now pushing around 20 miles an hour as we're speeding up a little bit. I think this might be a little bit of downhill. And that might be why we're picking up a little bit of speed here. But we've now been riding for around 3 minutes. So we're going through another bend here as we travel through more of the Sahara. Now, the Dutch Diesel team has been doing a lot of rides lately, and they've been getting up there in riders. So excited to see how many riders show up for this one, and stay with us throughout the course of this ride. Now, this is going to be a good workout for everyone involved here. Should get the heart rate pumping. Should get the legs aching possibly afterwards, but nothing a little foam rolling can't do. So looks like we're staying with around 3 in the front here on the Fuego Flats. It's been a pretty consistent group up here in the front as we rounded out our first mile there, going about 22 miles per hour now. So the speed is pretty fast. We're about to hit the 5-minute mark in this ride, and yeah, it looks like the riders are just not necessarily warming up, but not necessarily pushing themselves at the moment, as we're only hitting around 163 watts. So not too bad, I wouldn't say. Now, as we go by this building to our right, the riders, again, 3 in the front, as we are for now. And we'll see if we can find any other Dutch Diesel riders that are with us today. There's a great team that's involved here. You can find people like Geert, Mike, Sam. All these people will help you out if you ever join one of our Dutch Diesel rides, and they're all great ride leaders. Every single ride, they are devoted to bringing you the best riding experience that they can. So be sure if you drop by to drop a ride on to one of our leaders. That would be much appreciated for all the work that they do. So yeah, the 3 in the front now becoming a little more flattened out versus all riding next to each other as we pass the 5-minute mark here. Riders are hitting 20 miles an hour right now and pushing it up there to 194 watts. So we should be rounding maybe the 200 watt threshold here soon. But we will see, guys. And yeah, we're going to be in the flats for a little bit longer here. As I'm looking on my map, you guys can't see it. I'm looking at the phone view of the map. You might be able to see a little bit of a view of the map in the top right corner, but we're going through some curves here. And the gradient right now is around -1%. So the riders have a slight but barely noticeable downhill. And that might be what's helping them reach that 22 mile an hour speed at only 193 watts. So it looks like the heartbeat is now at 130 beats per minute. Not too much of a change, but definitely good for a workout here. So looks like we have a little bit of a change here up in the front. Where we used to have 3 riders, we now have 2. That one rider in the orange that we just passed was not part of that group. So we're now here at 2 in the front. As you'll see, there's a few more ride-ons coming in for Eric Hoffman, as you see his little yellow name tag popping up on top. And yeah, so as we get the around 6 minutes is how long we've been going here. And we hit the 2-mile mark now. Going 21 miles per hour. This is a flat section of the course. As you see in the top right-hand corner, it is a 0% gradient. And yeah. Still here in the Fuego Flats. Pretty cool rock formations to the right. It's a nice little tower. And then to the left, it almost looks like there's some sort of blimp shape on top of a large pillar of stone. So it's very interesting to see how these Zwift designers went about creating this course and just kind of their inspiration behind everything. But yeah, Watopia has gone on quite the change since Dutch Diesel first started, including the addition of Alp Zwift and other pretty iconic parts of the map at this point. But yeah, as you'll see, you'll be seeing some ride-ons still popping in for Eric as one of the ride leaders. That arrow and that title brings him a good amount of ride-ins per ride. And yeah, he tries to respond to everyone on Strava that posts a ride, as well as some of our other Dutch Diesel ride leaders. Don't want to leave them out. I just don't know where I would find them on my little spectator view here. So as you see in front of us, a little train is kind of going by as we go under this little rock bridge. And it looks like we have someone passing us, but that is okay. I cannot confirm nor deny if that person was part of the ride, but it doesn't seem like they are just because they're not keeping pace with the rest of the group. But yeah, now we're hitting that 200 watt threshold, so the rider's bringing it up a little bit. We're still on a 0% gradient and hitting 21 miles an hour right now. Not much climbing, as you see. You'll only see that there's 23 feet that have been climbed so far, so that's pretty much just been picked up as some pocket change as we go up maybe a 1% gradient here and there. But yeah, biking through this old western town, and you have to wonder, guys, what went on in this western town before it became what it looks like pretty abandoned as our riders just come on through here. We have some nice little lampposts and some nice little buildings to look at here as we come on through. Still in the Fuego Flats, I believe. And that little archway is probably where our train disappeared to that we saw earlier as we come around this bend, with the rider sitting 22 miles an hour. So it looks like we're averaging in the 20 to 22 range, which should be pretty expected of the group here. We have Eric kind of off the front by himself now, but that pretty much provides a good frame of reference for the rest of the riders. As you'll see in the top right-hand corner again, we have Eric's little sort of beacon slash arrow. I'm not 100% sure what you would call that, but and then there's kind of a bunch of riders, little bunch of dots that will show you that there's a lot of riders with him there. We're still on a flat section of the course, still 0%, but the heartbeat is up there right now at 136. So we went from 120 range to around 135 to 136 beats per minute, which is good. As you see, we have R. Cravo coming on through here, Brazilian, and it looks like he's going to join the 3 at the front. And yeah, as you see, there's a little text coming in at the top of my screen, and unfortunately we don't have music figured out right now, as the program I'm using to stream this doesn't have desktop capture. But yeah, we have a little bit bigger of a group here in the front as we head to a 2% gradient course of part of the course here, bringing up that total feet climb to around 33 feet. As you'll notice, we were pretty low in feet climbed, but going up this 2% gradient should bring up that stat a little bit. We have Jay Zhou of China right behind us, as a little bit of a pack was formed there at the front, but now seems to be dissipating. Speed is slowed down now to around 16 miles to 17 miles an hour, but the watts have also come down from above 200 to around 193 now. So riders now going down the downhill. As you'll see, it's a negative 1% gradient, so that's a downhill of, well, now 2%. And that's bringing the speed up to 21 miles an hour as we see that pretty cool looking fossil over there to our right. Wonder what type of creature used to roam these Fuego flats, and we just passed the waterfall as well. As we come through a pretty big curve here in the course, if you notice top right, it almost makes you go 180 degrees around and start going the other direction before it does curve again, as we pass the 11-minute mark. So Kei Kawai is also joining us here in the front, as well as some Taiwanese riders up in the front of the pack here. Not 100% sure if they're part of the group or not, but they're up in the front here with us. G. Robles from Colombia is also up here in the front, as we're hitting 22 miles an hour through this section of the course. Pretty cool cave-like area. I've always wanted to go somewhere like this in real life, one of these really cool cave areas. But yeah, we're about to exit this cave of what I would assume would be sandstone. Really the developers here really paid attention to the graphics, making it look really good. And yeah, same with the trees and all the bushes. Everything is pretty HD, high definition. So a little update on where we're at. We just hit 4 miles to be 4.1 to be exact. We're going on a little bit of a downhill, but not enough to be noticeable for the riders. They're hitting 22 miles an hour. And as you'll see, as observing Eric here, it's 193 watts. So not the rider should be around that area. That 3-4 now in the front. There seems to be a little bit of a pack here in the front. Maybe a few just a little bit farther behind, but this is a pretty tight-knit area, tight-knit group, or tight-knit ride. They stay pretty close together, and that's from the excellent management of our ride leaders here at Dutch Diesel Cycling. So be sure to drop by one if you haven't already, and come ride with the Dutch Diesel crew. So yeah, Eric now kind of going off a little bit just to lead the riders through this section of the course. It's a little bit of a flat section. So here it's just all about what power, what wattage, what you're putting into it, how your muscles deal with the flats, versus on some of the uphills and downhills, other characteristics such as weight and height can affect how fast you're able to go. But yeah, these machines that the riders are using are pretty dialed in, especially the Wahoo Kicker, which is one of the choices of the Dutch Diesel crew. I would say highly recommended by the riders that use it in the Dutch Diesel team, ride leaders, like little squadron that we have going, which, as I said before, includes Gert, Mike, Sam, all those people. But yeah, Eric recently had to send in his kicker for repairs, which that was the only part of the experience that I can inform you was not the most enjoyable. It seemed like there may have been a little mismanagement of his trainer, but in the end it got fixed. He ended up getting sent a newer version due to the fact that the other one was said it was fixed, but then got sent back, and it turned out that it wasn't quite up to the standard So yeah, as you see, that green rider, he's not part of our group, so he's going to shoot off the front here. And the little group of three, that fourth head is poking through here, is staying at the front of the pack. As we're about to hit the 5th mile of this ride. It took us less than 15 minutes to get there. Well, around 15. It hasn't quite exactly changed to 5 miles. There we go. Sub 15 minute 5 mile. Averaging around 20 miles an hour right now as we go through another flat section of the course. So again, this is just all what the riders decide to put in with their leg muscles. This is all an individual part of the course, where, as I said, uphills could be a little bit dependent on your weight and height and such. So coming on through here, as we see another group pass us to the right, not quite as big as the pack that is riding with the Dutch Diesel crew today. So yeah, we're just going to keep on riding through, and everyone should be getting a good exercise, as I said. It looks like we're keeping a consistent amount of riders here. As I look on my nearby Zwifters area on my app, it says we have around 91 near us. I would give you an exact count, but I'm not 100% sure where to find that at the moment. But yeah, looks like we're around 80 to 90 riders riding with us today as we come on through to a little bit of a curve, a little shaded area with that dinosaur and gas station and what looks to be almost like a superhero's house or some sort of thing up on the hill. Very modern design. And yeah, we're just going to keep on riding through. 43 feet of climbing, so not too much for the riders to go uphill yet. As I said, we are on the Fuego Flats, but as you see in the distance, there's some mountains, which I think may be Alta Zwift, but I feel like I'm wrong in saying that. But yeah, we're kind of coming through a little bit more of some civilization after we've been out in those Fuego Flats for a little while. Some funky looking buildings. Looks like there's a Target logo up there. Or maybe no, sorry, I was mistaken. Looked from afar like it was a Target logo. We're going through 19 miles an hour through this part of the course. It almost looks like a 50s kind of diner area. I got pimped out with some more modern designs as well. So yeah, it's an interesting mix of buildings as we come on through. It looks like Tile Veloviet is, I believe he's part of the ride. I've seen him ride with us for a little while now, but it looks like he's just jumping off the front a little bit. Should be maybe closing that a little bit here soon as we continue on through these buildings at around 18 miles an hour. Slight uphill gradient, which is why we may have noticed the speed go down just a little bit. And yeah, we're hitting 19 miles an hour here. So 52 feet of climbing, going up just slightly as we go down to a little section that is about -1 in gradient. So that's just a little downhill, nothing too crazy. So yeah, 21 miles an hour is now our current speed. I'm going to try and pull up the channel here on my phone just so I can see if any chats are coming in. It looks like we hit 6 miles now. All the riders in the front of the pack are now getting a thumbs up on the ride, so that is awesome. Rounding 18 minutes now on the course at 20 miles an hour. 21 now, in fact. You hear those ride-on noises coming in and out of the background there. So yeah, 22 miles now. We're going through another flat section of the course as we round a pretty big little curve in the road here. Around 92 RPM on the trainer. That seemed to be about the average, and we've been at 193 watts for a little while as well. Staying around 130 to, yeah, pretty much between 130 and 140 on the beats per minute on the heart rate. But yeah, a little pack of 3 has started to form here. And yeah. So it looks like right now we're going through a Zone 2 interval of 8 minutes. Seems as if that is what is left. So Zone 2 interval. I saw that chat from the ride leader himself here. And let me see if I can get some camera angles going for you guys. Trying to see how I would do that. as we go up this 3% gradient. So it looks like you can even kind of see it on the screen that the uphill is kind of here for a little bit. Not quite sure how to work these camera angles. As I said, I'm a little new to some of the Zwift nuances. First time commentating as well. So that is what's going on here. And as I observe the map, it looks like we're going through a few curves coming up, as the gradient has been consistently uphill, but not too much, only at about 2 to 3%. But that has slowed down the riders to 14 miles an hour as we keep that same wattage. The reason they keep that same wattage is due to the fact that they're doing a zone 2 interval. So there's different zones, and those zones account for different wattage, heartbeat, all that type of stuff. So if you're getting new to the Zwift world and want to join some rides, that's kind of what everything is based off, is off these zones. And those zones and determining which ones we should do is all determined by our excellent coaching staff, which if you would like to be even privately coached, you can visit DDCcycling.com, and we'll get you sorted there with our team of experts, using things like Training Peaks and a lot of modern exercise tools to get everything working fantastic for you and get in excellent shape. So we turn right at the fork in the road. Still staying at the 193 watts, so it doesn't look like they've changed out of the zone 2 intervals, which they've been staying at for a little while here. About to hit 7 miles, which should be coming up. As I said, we're going 12 miles an hour up this 3% gradient, and I'd like to welcome another viewer to the stream as we come on up around this bend through the forest. Quite the magical looking forest, I might add, as we hit that 3% mark, 4% now. You'll notice that in the top right of your screen from my view. So the 4%, Eric is out front here. The other rider's not far behind as we hit our 7th mile of this ride, around the 21-minute mark. So these riders have been moving fast. And yeah. So 135 feet of climbing is what's been achieved so far as we hit that 5%. And that's going to be the end of the test for today, guys. Just wanted to test this out. Let me know if you like that new commentating. And we're going to stop this stream and try and make it private for just so we can see how it ended up. But thank you for joining us here. And see you in the next one.